Yeah. Give me some love, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Liquor license?
A what?
A liquor license. Was she a dyke, a lesbian?
If you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
Man the fuck up.
If you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were.
One, two, one, two, one, two, one, two. You know, oh, I messed that up. ICE is doing a lot out here. ICE is most certainly doing a lot out here, and we don't really pay attention to it. In today's video, I will show you, and we will hear, ironically, from these, I guess you call them left-leaning or whiteys, whatever you want to call them, weirdos. These are the people that's going to tell you exactly what ICE is doing. So we're going to take a listen, and we're going to see if we are happy with all the things that we don't know that ICE is doing. We have an idea, but they're going to tell us exactly what ICE is doing. Let's go.
Trying to do is
this person got 1 million subscribers. I was sitting there saying, hold on. I'm doing something totally wrong. I'm doing something totally wrong if these the type of people that got 1 million subscribers, and I understand it's whitewashed, but my goodness, how's this content?
Is arrest and deport as many people as it possibly can. ICE officers are subject to quotas, so they are supposed to be arresting as an entire organization across the federal government. About 3,000 people per day. They're not reaching that goal that the White House has arbitrarily set for them. So basically what this means is that from the individual officer's perspective, the most important goal is to increase the number of arrests. It's quantity over quality, and we're seeing that reflected.
Oh, my volume was messed up. All right. So the most important thing for ICE, in case you didn't know, is quantity over quality. And this is what's making people mad. Quantity. And you sit there and you say to yourself, well, why don't you want ICE to have a great quantity? Why? I don't get it.
In the data on who is actually being arrested. If you look at what has happened really in the last few weeks, we've seen this dramatic increase in the number of arrests that occurred overall.
In the last couple of weeks, ICE has had a dramatic increase. Okay? So you thought ICE was doing their damn thing. No. In the last couple of weeks, ICE has had a dramatic uptick. Let's see why.
But particularly among the demographic that do not have any criminal convictions in the United States. So,
in particular, people that does not have a criminal record inside the United States. So they can be here illegally. And they can commit a future crime. Could be on your family. But you want to wait till then. You want to wait till they commit a crime on your family. Let's go.
Particularly among the demographic that do not have any criminal convictions in the United States. So in June,
building a business in your sleep is not the pipe dream they told you it was.
Okay, weird moment. I opened my laptop this morning.
over 70% of the people who were arrested by Immigration and Customs Enforcement had no criminal convictions. And if you look at the tax,
over 70% had no criminal convictions. They are just here illegally. ICE is working overtime. Let's go.
That ICE is deploying to get these arrest numbers so high, it's basically by going out on the streets, going into businesses, barging into Home Depots.
ICE is going on the street, barging into businesses, going out to Home Depots. ICE is busy. Let's give it up for ICE, man.
Or onto farms and demanding to see the citizenship papers of everyone they encounter. And Border Patrol is assisting them in this effort. So if you look at many of the scenes in Los Angeles, it's often Border Patrol who's actually stopping people in the interior of the United States, demanding to see, in one video, it was, what hospital were you born at? I mean, these are the types of questions that are being posed to American citizens really every day now.
Hold on. Are they illegal or are they legal citizens? Because the rhetoric is off. Illegal or legal? Which one are they? Let him tell you.
In cities across the United States, not just Los Angeles, where Border Patrol and Immigration and Customs Enforcement are trying to increase these number of arrests to meet the arbitrary goals of the White House. If you look at, not just, getting beyond just the idea of a conviction versus not, there are a lot of crimes in the United States, as you know. Only about 5 to 6% of the people arrested in June had a violent criminal conviction.
Only 60% of the people arrested in June had a violent criminal conviction. So everybody else had a non-violent criminal case. I mean, I just don't see I don't see why he believes he's saying something. It's crazy.
And those are the people who invariably are highlighted at every Department of Homeland Security press conference, every tweet that I see. It's highlighting these exceptions to the rule, while the vast majority of the people that they're targeting are not violent, have never been convicted of anything at all, but certainly are not the violent criminals you hear so much about. So really what we're seeing is a lot of profiling that is happening in immigrant communities in Los Angeles and elsewhere, leading to arrests of people who are not criminals, do not.
Now, how can you sit there and say the person is not a criminal? How can you say that? Because they haven't committed a crime. This is weird. That is not the sort of that is not the predisposed notion of how you interact with people. You are the most stereotypical judgmental person there is. You look like somebody that goes off the way that someone looks. And you got the nerve to see people that cross the border and call them not criminals. Like you can speak up to that. I mean, this shit is crazy.
Not have violent histories, and that is leading to an enormous increase in the population of people who are being detained by Immigration and Customs Enforcement. And many of the facilities are so overcrowded now, there's nowhere to put them. And that leads to, the alligator Alcatraz being opened.
Yeah.
So ICE is arresting so many people that they don't know where to put them. So they're opening all of these detention centers, as they should, because if you're waiting for asylum, if you have your case pending, if anything, you should be detained away from the public while you wait for your case or your deportation. You shouldn't be able to interact in the public where there's a chance that you could be a criminal. You understand that?
So I'd like to get into the conditions in which people are being held. But first, let's dig in a little bit more into the numbers here in terms of the criminality of the people who are being rounded up. So you said about 5% have criminal convictions. Do you know how many have had criminal charges for violent offenses?
So about half the population have a criminal conviction or a criminal charge. This is a little bit, I find this a little bit misleading with the department relying on this.
How could it be misleading if you're here illegally and you have a criminal charge? Fuck a conviction. You have a criminal charge and you saying that that's misleading. So what do they need to have for you to believe that they're not supposed to be here? They're entered illegally. They have a criminal charge. I don't see where's the problem. And it's so funny. A person like you wouldn't be caught dead with anybody other than your own kind.
This stuff because they can charge someone with crossing the border illegally. Or
That's the next question.
They can charge somebody with crossing the border illegally. Can somebody get charged if they cross your property lines illegally? Are you going to just let us in? I mean, these people are sick.
Like, what qualifies as a crime?
Anyone who's crossed the border illegally has committed a crime, and that's kind of the common response whenever I point this out. But the whole purpose here, the whole claim is that this is about public safety. It's about protecting us from these horrible people who came into our country, and so we need to crack down. It's, the idea that, we need to be prosecuting people for illegally entering the country.
You hear this fool? The thought that we need to prosecute people for illegally entering the country is preposterous. Are you kidding me?
We need to be prosecuting people for illegally entering the country doesn't sound good, which is why they don't emphasize those offenses. They emphasize the violent crimes, the people who defrauded someone or did something where there's an actual victim. And so I think that's the heart of their case is about this.
This is from the piece that you published. You write, most convictions, 53%, fell into three main categories: immigration offenses, traffic offenses, or nonviolent vice crimes.
Here we go. Y'all gonna like this. Y'all gonna like this part right here. Nonviolent offenses, other charges, and vice crimes. Now, none of those criminal offenses are supposed to be sufficient enough for deportation after somebody who's illegally in the country already. Listen to this fool.
So a nonviolent vice crime would be what? What kind of?
Listen to this fool. I actually believe this lady's setting him up. I don't think she agrees with this dude, but she asked this fool, what are vice crimes? Now listen to this shit.
What kind of thing would that be?
Prostitution, mainly drugs, drug possession.
Do you hear this fool? The woman asked him, what are vice crimes? Prostitution, drugs, drug possession, and other things that he don't think that illegals should be deported for. This guy is a fool.
Offenses, traffic offenses, or nonviolent vice crimes. So a nonviolent vice crime would be what? What kind of thing would that be?
Prostitution, mainly drugs, drug possession, drug paraphernalia. This kind of thing. So not people who are raping anyone or.
Right.
Do you hear this guy? Prostitution, but not people that are raping anyone. Well, hold on. Prostitution, drugs, drug paraphernalia, vice crimes. All of those can lead to the rape that you're talking about. Why would you have those people in your community, in your neighborhood, in your front yard, violating your border? No, all they did was they're just doing prostitution in front of your house and drug possession. Come on, man. You know this white man is full of it. Full of it. No way he had them people around him.
Traffic offenses or nonviolent vice crimes. So a nonviolent vice crime would be what? What kind of thing would that be?
Prostitution, mainly drugs, drug possession, drug paraphernalia. This kind of thing. So not people who are raping anyone or murdering anyone. These things that get highlighted.
Have you ever heard white people sit up together and say prostitution and drugs and all that stuff? Oh, that's light. You know this is some agenda filled shit. If they don't care about all of that, those are the crimes that lead to all of the big crimes easily.
The main group and the largest single offense category are those immigration offenses, obviously.
Right.
Easy to prosecute people for crossing the border illegally if
Okay.
they're in the country illegally.
Let's talk also about the way these roundups are happening, because this is something that we have not seen in the past. I mean, part of the way our open and fair justice system and police system tends to work is people in authority wear a badge. It has a number. Their name is visible. Their face is visible. And they say they're arresting you under authority of the government. And what we see now is people who are masked, who are not showing ID, and who are bundling people off the streets. So can you talk about that?
Yeah.
Well, I could talk about it first. When you see police officers and they're disclosing their identification, that's because they're dealing with American citizens. They are not the ones that are able to detain illegals. So they don't have to worry about disclosing their identification to an illegal. They can't touch them. The federal officers got more to worry about than some regular American citizen. They have $1 million cartels with these people creating these illegal immigrants to be damn mules and human trafficking. They got real money behind this. So why should they have to show their faces? See, this is the stupid shit that I'm talking about. Regular police officers they cannot touch illegals. So they can be face out. Nobody's looking for them.
Yeah, into unmarked vehicles is one thing you left off there, or maybe I missed it. So yeah, people with plain clothes, no badges, no identification, masks, arresting people or...
Hey, this is Senator John Ossoff in Georgia. Not sure if you saw, but a Republican congressman
grabbing them and putting them in unmarked vehicles. You know, to many people on the street, it looks like a kidnapping. It doesn't look like law enforcement operation. This is something that, you know, I've seen people be arrested before. I've never seen anyone be arrested in the manner that Immigration and Customs Enforcement is carrying out these arrests. Of course,
This is what's happening out here, y'all. He's seen people arrested before. Where? And what illegal immigrants have you seen arrested before? You ain't who you seen arrested? Where was it at? You ain't never seen no real arrest in a neighborhood that wasn't your own, and all they did was put them in cuffs and take them away. That is not an illegal.
ICE says we're doing this to protect our officers. This is not just untrue, it is backwards. It actually results in more threats, more assaults on officers when the public does not know who they're interacting with. If I know you're a law enforcement officer, I'm much less likely to assault you, to fight back, or, you know, if you try to grab me, I'm not going to swing at you. Now,
this is what's happening in America, y'all. I'm not saying this guy can't fight. I'm just saying you are not pushing back at somebody who has military armor on with a mask and a gun. You are not pushing them back. You could just cut the bullshit. The illegals are doing it because somebody told them, yo, they can't shoot you. That's the only reason that they're doing it. You're not pushing back no regular person that's coming up to you. I don't give a damn if they're an ICE officer or not. They have a gun and they got on army fatigues and they're running at you. You're going to push them back. That's a lie.
Know who they're interacting with. If I know you're a law enforcement officer, I'm much less likely to assault you, to fight back, or, you know, if you try to grab me, I'm not going to swing at you. If it's just a random person wearing jeans and a t-shirt and they grab me on the street, yes, I'm going to shove them off of me. That's the natural.
That's a lie. They got guns and stuff. That's not just some person walking up to you with a t-shirt on. ICE is doing a good job. They got these people pissed off and lying. Let's go.
Natural inclination of anyone in that situation would be to do that. And then you have onlookers also inclined to do the same thing. And so it is really reprehensible that they're selling this as protecting the officers. It's not protecting the officers. It's not protecting the public. It's endangering both by not creating clarity about who is actually making these arrests. The other aspect to this whole secrecy with respect to arrests is that you also have people who can now pretend that they are Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and they're here to arrest or detain you. And actually, they're sexual predators, they're thieves, they're other people who, get a kick out of
terrorizing people.
Now, that was a good point, right? So what should those people do? If you have ICE imposters out here and people who are here illegally know that that's happening, right? What's the best thing that they could do for themselves? Go the fuck back where you came from. Then you won't have to worry about anybody being an imposter.
Well, yeah, they don't like their neighbors and they want to just terrorize them into leaving. This is what is happening. It's already been documented, but we only know a tiny sliver of what is happening out there in terms of people impersonating these ICE officers, because we only catch a small percentage of those impersonators.
Especially when the victims are going to be very unlikely to want to come forward and make a complaint for fear of being deported or otherwise harassed and becoming, raising their profile. So they're not going to complain. By the way, Tom Homan claims that this is because their ICE officers have been doxxed. What do you make of that?
I don't even understand the argument. Every NYPD officer, by that definition, has been doxxed.
That's a lie. You're missing the whole point. These illegals are not as stupid as you think. These cartels are not stupid. They know regular, non-federal enforcement can detain them. They know. And they're not looking to go after no damn NYPD. Okay? So you could just cut that out.
I mean, you can look up the profile of public officials, judges. I mean, these are people who are acting on our behalf as citizens of this country. They are supposed to represent us and act on our behalf. We are entitled to know who they are, who is the person who's acting on our behalf. And of course, anyone who's being detained has the right to know under what authority, am I being detained.
This massive assault on civil liberties that we are watching in real time was put into motion by basically a story that Trump started to tell in 2015, and that has become sort of the mantra of the MAGA movement, which is that we have been invaded by this army of criminals who are terrorizing Americans and don't deserve to be here, and that we are under siege from this influx of criminal immigrants. Now, one might say, it's funny because only 5% of the people that you're holding have criminal records, violent criminals. Maybe.
You see that? See, because 60% have criminal records, only 5 have violent criminals. See, ICE is doing way more than they're willing to give us the info for.
That wasn't true. Or is it that they're just really bad at finding them? Or explain this, please.
You're absolutely right. They want to make it into a military operation. This is why we, sometimes see them in fatigues. They have the National Guard come in, all these types of things that they're doing to enhance the fear and, emotions about security. So yeah, they claim it's an invasion. Obviously, it's not an invasion in the constitutional sense. We can use whatever euphemism we want to describe something we don't like. They don't like immigration, so immigration is an invasion. We even now have legal invaders. The people who come into the country legally as students or parolees or refugees, they're invaders. Trump called them, the Trojan horse invasion. So, I mean, this is how they describe and talk about immigration. It's hyperbole at best. It's, a lie at worst.
Well, the older I get, the more I find.
So it's almost like this man didn't see on the news all of those people coming across the country. Let's move on. Let's get a little fun going on.
Hello, sir.
If you're an employer or a business owner and you care about your employees or just humans in general, here's what you can do if ICE comes to your workplace. Firstly, you should know that as an employer, you actually have the power to deny ICE entry into any private area of that workplace.
I'm about to tell y'all a list of companies that is working with ICE through the IMAGE program. And the IMAGE program is basically just, a program used to minimize the authorization of illegals working, right? But you'll be a fucking fool to believe that, okay? This is how they're finding these people at their jobs. This is why ICE is pulling up to hardworking jobs, because they're working with them. Okay, we're gonna start off with Chick-fil-A, Hyatt, Kelly Services, Lexmark, Best Western, Toyota. The crazy thing about this whole little program shit is these companies can literally mind their fucking business. They would never have to say anything. They can mind their business, but instead y'all want to cooperate. That means you don't give a fuck about people being stripped away from their family. You don't care about shit. We have to devalue them down to nothing. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. All these influencers that's not saying anything, all these celebrities that's not saying anything. When you don't say shit, you with the shit, okay? Period, point blank. They need to be devalued down to fucking nothing. And after all this clear, we need to be acting like we don't know these fucking people no more.
Here, they came, people of the store, the owners, locked them inside the store and escaped. But they end up detaining the people that they came to get. But everybody trapped them inside the store. And the FBI came to free them and let them out the store. I'll be posting a video later on TikTok. Passing out donuts.
They want free. They want free and turn in their Mexican.
Make sure you guys follow. I'll be going live later when I get to the station where they took them.
ICE is not playing out here. You understand? It's not a game.
Do you see this video in Nashville where this woman is talking about the ICE raid that happened at her job, how they came in without warrants, how they were racially profiling people, and how this caused her job to close?
My work closed early tonight because ICE raided Broadway in Nashville. They went into the bars, specifically the kitchens of the bars, and they racially profiled a lot of the workers in there, detained them illegally, searched a lot of these places without warrants. Now, a lot of the workers who were dragged away from their jobs are being detained indefinitely until they can prove their citizenship. No telling how long they'll be detained. It could be 2 days, it could be 2 months. But a lot of very hardworking people, mothers, fathers, people supporting their families, went to work tonight and don't know when they're going to be going home or dragged away.
Sorry about the volume on that. They could always go back to where they came from. You understand?
This video is for fellow business owners that may be a target of the ICE situation that we have happening here in the United States right now. My name is Rachel Brinke, and I'm a business attorney, and I highly encourage
if you're not an undocumented illegal immigrant, keep scrolling.
I have spent all weekend watching these riots in LA, and if it's one thing you motherfuckers have proven is that you are capable of fighting back. Why don't y'all use that same energy to go back to your country and fight the fucking cartel? You all are some of the most hardworking motherfuckers on the planet. Y'all work circles around us niggas. And you have proven that you are capable of fighting back. Why don't you take that same energy that you have used to build this fucking country and go back home to your country and make it great? I say this out of love. Hispanic undocumented.
Ha
ICE hitting Chinatown. Matter of fact, we could check that out real quick. ICE hitting Chinatown. Hold on. Hold on. You know Trump got beef with China.
I find myself wanting to be more intentional about the way I live, eat, and take care of my body. The old plus, but
where can I find creators who actually drive results? Popular Pays simplifies creator marketing by
but I try to limit it.
Survey of who is in our nation's prisons. This is stuff that's coming from the administrator of the prison. And so when we look at that data, we can say that illegal immigrants are about half as likely to be incarcerated in prisons in the United States or other detention facilities. That actually includes the people who are being imprisoned specifically because they are here illegally. And legal immigrants, it's even more extreme, 70% below the rate for the US born population. We looked at conviction rates and arrest rates for the only state that has those records in Texas, specifically for homicide because the most investigation is done there. And again, illegal.
New surveillance video showing immigration enforcement agents talking to management at the Millie's restaurant on Massachusetts Avenue Tuesday morning. Millie's owner says agents asked to see I-9 forms.
It's very concerning. The employees are very scared. We're worried about some of them not coming back to work, and just a general panic amongst the people that it affects.
Nearly a dozen law enforcement and immigration officials wearing DHS uniforms also walking into El Centro restaurant in Georgetown, Chef Jeff's restaurant on New Mexico Avenue Northwest, and Ghost Burger on 9th Street Northwest, again wanting I-9 forms, which are employment verification forms used to make sure if employees are legally allowed to work in the United States. This video showing what appears to be someone taken into custody. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser saying D.C. police are not involved in the crackdown.
I have heard those reports. I've been getting them all morning. I am disturbed by them. It appears that ICE is at restaurants or even in neighborhoods, and it doesn't look like they're targeting criminals. And so it is disrupting.
Immigration support organizations want to remind workers.
Like I said, I don't think I'll ever understand what they mean. It's two things to that. They're not targeting criminals. Why do you care? And they're not targeting criminals. What politician don't lie? He's supposed to tell y'all the truth so y'all could derail his plan? I think not. Why the hell would I tell y'all what I'm doing when I know you're going to try to derail my plan? I'm not doing that. Yeah, I told you I was getting criminals. Who's ever here is a criminal.
Breaking news coming out of Chicago. Reports are stating that ICE agents have let businesses know if they have undocumented workers or workers without the proper paperwork, they can face penalties up to $20,000 per undocumented worker. Breaking news coming out of Chicago. Reports are stating that ICE agents have let businesses know if they have undocumented workers or workers without the proper paperwork, they can face penalties up to $20,000 per.
Like I said, they're putting everything in place to stop all of this immigration. Okay?
Breaking news. I just wanted to give a special shout out to San Diego, California for standing on that motherfucking business. Hey, I ain't never been so proud to be from Dago. Man, these niggas, ICE pulled up and started pulling people out this restaurant, bro. And the whole fucking town was not with it. They had to flashbang people, bro. Like they was, bro. There's a picture of an old white guy, like a hippie. You could tell he's straight old school hippie, like Ching Chang Chong hippie, bro. Standing in the cop mirror doing this straight, or in the window straight doing this, bro. It was getting. Listen. Shout out Sandy fucking Ego. I swear to God, man, I'll be missing home. I swear to God.
Attorney Mason Habhab here with Pastor and Associates. This message is primarily for employers in terms of ICE appearing at your business, looking for undocumented individuals. They're only permitted into the public areas of the business.
So I was watching the ICE raids in downtown LA right now, and I'm going to tell you something that pisses me off. I don't care if you don't agree with me in the comments. If you attack a federal officer, if you put a federal officer's life in danger, if you throw objects at them that could possibly cause extreme or serious bodily harm to them, they should have every right to pull out their rifle and light you up.
I don't care how far this video gets. You guys are Nazis. Yep, you guys would fit right into Hitler's regime. I literally just watched a video of an reporter get shot by a rubber bullet while doing her job. Literally in 4K, she's sitting there reporting the news, and the police officer shoots her with the rubber bullet. What are you talking about, bro? Again.
So yesterday I got a text message from a couple of my girls, and it just kind of broke my heart. So with the whole immigration situation going on here in Nashville, they are now so afraid of leaving their houses and driving to work that they are going to have to Uber to work, and they just wanted to apologize ahead of time if they were late. And really, that text message just says so much about these Hispanic people that we are victimizing, that we are terrorizing, because these aren't freeloaders who are wasting American taxpayer dollars. I mean, these are just people who want to go to work, who want to contribute to society, who just want to better their lives. And
well, if you're hiring illegals, that's first and foremost. Clearly, you're a prejudiced piece of shit. Why can't you hire some black people to work into your office? Acting like you're being sympathetic. You're the most prejudiced prick that I've ever seen. You should say, well, they're gone. Now I got jobs for black people, American citizens. Fuck are you talking about?
right now, they are so afraid of leaving their homes. They're afraid of being racially profiled, getting arrested, possibly getting deported, because they're just trying to better their lives.
They're not trying to just better their lives. They illegally entered the country and you illegally hired their asses. There's plenty black Americans that you could fucking hire.
What fucking kind of world are we living in right now? Truly. It's not what you do, it's how you do it.
It's not what you do, it's how you do it. You're sitting there hiring fucking illegals when it's a bunch of regular Americans here. Black, white, or whatever. But yeah, you talk from the comfort of your own car talking this stupid shit. This is what the internet did to these people, Platt.
And for me, going after criminals, gang members, drug dealers, I get it. I absolutely get it. But arresting people who are on their way to work.
Why would you say these people are on their way to work when you know they are here illegally? And the funny thing is, if you care so much, why don't you give them money to go home so they don't get detained? Why don't you help them?
It's just really shameful what kind of times we are living in. And like I am so freaking proud to be an American, but just there are times like this that just make me incredibly sad.
Go back to your home country, nigga. Like, these people are something else, man.
Hello everyone, this is Ice Queen, and I am here to let you know about my business that is
Just come legally. Just come legally. Hot take. I don't give a flying fuck about paperwork. You know what you came about paperwork? 1930s Germany? Where are your papers? Where are your papers? Slavery used to be legal. When did paperwork negate humanity? When did paperwork mean you can rip families apart? People that have been here 5, 10, 15, 20 years. What the fuck is wrong with you? Number one, we're all fucking illegal. We stole this fucking land from the Native Americans. And you know what else? You know, it's called Los Angeles. I don't see a lot of people calling it the Angels. And how many dumbasses are out there talking about, well, they're using our money, we're funding all of this. No, we're fucking not. They do not get access to welfare benefits.
I don't know what they get in Los Angeles, but in New York, they was getting all the benefits. They was getting like these welfare cards with food on them and money. They was getting a free place to stay. They was getting transportation. They was getting ID and social security numbers to sign up for Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub, and whatever the fuck else. Amazon is hiring all these motherfuckers. These motherfuckers is out here. You hear me?
Pay nearly $100 billion in taxes. Oh, well, how? They don't have a social security number. Or you guys just fucking say bullshit with.
This guy don't know what he's talking about. When you apply for asylum, it's basically the way Biden was doing it was apply for asylum. We're gonna grant you that, and when we grant you that, that means that your case to get either a visa, citizenship, or whatever goes before the courts. While your case is before the courts, you have every right to be in America. This was what Biden had. So your case could be fighting for 10 years before you get citizenship. And, you know, they hang around and whatever the case is until that happens. They can't be deported. Trump changed that shit. How can you just get asylum? Trump said, I'm paying people. Trump said, I'm charging people $5 million for gold visas. You niggas ain't getting in here for free? Like, I don't know what's wrong with these people. Hold on.
Let's pack for delivery.
And why am I just now finding out that McDonald's, Costco, Starbucks, and the 7-Elevens in New York support a program called the Image Program that supports ICE, a program that helps ICE find immigrants from their employment? First of all, Starbucks don't.
Hey, I just learned about this plat. Something called the Image Program. Let's look it up real quick.
Legal immigrants and legal immigrants, 26 to 30% less likely to be arrested and convicted of homicide in the state of Texas. We got data from Georgia that shows the same thing just for the illegal immigrant population. And nationwide, you know, the idea that they're importing crime and that, you know, the immigrant communities are just being destroyed is just not borne out by any data set that we have looked at in order to evaluate this claim. According to the Department of Homeland Security, they have about 450,000 people with a criminal conviction. who are eligible for removal from the United States. That is somewhere around 3% of the unauthorized or removable population of non-citizens in the United States. The average American is likely to have at least one conviction. About 1 in 5 Americans have at least one criminal conviction of some kind. That's a staggering number, but it goes to show how much less crime prone this population. They're not trying to go out and commit crimes and take over America. One of the things that J.D. Vance likes to talk about is how immigration increases home values. And he goes on and on. It's making home values unaffordable and all this stuff, but it cuts completely against his story about crime. If they're coming in and they're destroying our neighborhoods, how are they making our housing more valuable, our communities? I mean, it's a reflection of the fact that the community is better with them in there. More people want to live there as a result of their presence in the United States.
Now, you know this nigga's outright lying. He don't want no Mexicans, no blacks. He don't want nobody living next to him. He don't want nobody on his front yard crossing his border of his property. This man's an outright liar, man. Now, there's something called the image. Now that's weird. That was weird. That was pretty weird.
We now know how their facial recognition
There you have it. They have the facial recognition. They have tools. They have facial recognition. They're charging employers $20,000 per undocumented. Okay, so you want to have a whole zoo of them up in there? You paying $20,000 per illegal. They're running up in churches, stores, Home Depot, houses. They're running up with facial recognition. They're asking what church was you? I mean, what hospital was you born in? I mean, they are doing everything. They got these immigrant trackers. They have everything, man.
Did you see that ICE agents have been
Well, he's wrong. Let me tell you how he's wrong. Shit. I don't know what year it was. I might have got arrested in damn 2010. I might have got arrested in 2010, right? This was in New York City. This was back in the days. Now, when you get arrested in New York City, you go through like 5 jails before you get to the courthouse, right? So this was 2010. This is the first time I ever seen this. And these were the first people that was doing it. When you got arrested in New York in 2010, okay? They had like this Polaroid camera looking thing. They had a Polaroid camera looking thing, right? And when you're in the bullpen, they say, yo, come over here. And you put your eyes inside of this Polaroid thing, right? And they take the picture. Snap. So they take your pupils or whatever. They take your eyes. So they been taking your eyes. All this facial recognition shit, secondary bullshit. They've been taking your eyes like Minority Report since 2010. I can tell you that firsthand. Okay? My eyes been in the system. So when they try to do all of that COVID, capture your DNA and all that stuff, I was like, hell no, you already got my eyes, you already got my DNA, you already got everything. So yeah, you guys gotta understand, don't be getting arrested out here, man. Because they're getting your DNA and your eyes. Okay, so that's why the other guy was saying, yo, you should wear shades. See, because they had put the technology into the airports. They had the Minority Report shit in the airports where, boom, soon as you step in, they read your eyes. Beep, beep, beep. Now you in the airport. So, Just don't try to believe everything that you hear out here.
A lot of innocent people being labeled someone they're not, which is already what they're doing. Now, ICE has been developing these tools since 2020, but nobody really cared because, as always, people thought that these tools would only be used against immigrants. But just like I said before, just because a tool is created to hurt the other, don't ever think it won't be used against you. And here we are. These tools are...
Brother, you sound stupid. They were going to use these tools regardless, but if we're going to use your logic is even worse. If the immigrants wasn't here, they wouldn't be doing all this facial recognition. You don't hear what you're saying, stupid?
ICE agents just got a new power, and leaked emails obtained by 404 Media show exactly what they're doing. It's called Mobile Fortify. Point a phone at anyone's face, and it instantly tells you who they are. This tech uses the same database that takes your photo when you enter and leave the US. Millions of Americans who have traveled internationally are in this system. The leaked emails show ICE can now scan faces in the field, no warrant, no probable cause, just point and identify. The app has something called Super Query that reveals your immigration status, travel history, and what they call derogatory information. ICE agents just got a new power, and leaked emails obtained by 404 Media show exactly what they're doing.
If you are looking for immigrant resources,
Curry County Sheriff just became the first local government in New Mexico to sign on to the ICE 287G program. This is a move that deserves big pushback, and I want to give you two reasons why. The first is that counties have limited resources. They're not swimming in money, and putting sheriffs on deportation.
They are using color-coded wristbands instead of tattoos and GPS ankle monitors instead of armbands with stars and triangles on them. In the Florida Everglades concentration camp, they are using a color-coded wristband to categorize detainees. And outside of that facility, ICE is tricking people into signing up for a monitoring system and then using that ankle monitoring system to just track down those immigrants and bring them to Florida anyway. No matter how much they try to upgrade their technology and change the terminology, they are not fooling anybody. We know what this is, and they know what this is. I know y'all have heard these MAGA Republicans get on this app and say, you know, I've never heard Mustache Man's speeches translated to English, but now that I hear him in English, I think he's right about some stuff. They know what this is. And they know what they voted for. And the gaslighting coming from the White House is not to convince those.
Cal State Los Angeles is allowing students to participate in college campuses online due to recent ICE activity in the neighborhood. Community colleges across the state of California, like San Marcos and Pierce College, are also giving people the option to attend school classes online. Most UC and CSU campuses are actually sanctuary campuses, so please know that the administration will not release any information about you to ICE, and if ICE should show up, the staff has been trained to intervene with the ICE agents. If you are afraid to go to school or to walk into the classroom, look at your school website and see what your protections are. And if you can't find anything, reach out to the school and reach.
I have a constant.
New York, come on up to the front.
Hey, it's Joe from Georgia. Well, there's some job openings if you want to apply for it. Now, these jobs involve probably working any hours of the day or night. You're going to have to get armored up every day for it. And you're going to be either breaking into someone's houses or snatching people off the street for the job. Now, I hear it pays very well. Oh, and you've got to wear a mask over your face. So
Hey everyone, so
hear the news about all the ICE agents quitting in droves? I want you to go ahead and Google ICE facility attacked in Texas.
100% we need to be talking about this and spreading this information as quickly as possible. So as always, make sure you like, repost, comment, and follow along to stay up to date. Yes, what you're doing is working. Whilst the admin, shocker, continues to lie and pretend that morale is higher than ever, it's not. And apparently conditions and what they're being told to do behind the scenes are so terrible that ICE agents are either quitting in waves or on the very verge of quitting.
I'm so hungry, I could eat a kid. I'm so hungry.
So if you are not aware, because most news outlets didn't report on this, an ICE facility in Texas was ambushed by a dozen civilians. These are 10 of their mugshots. I will now read to you the Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. For more context and explanation, I had to put my glasses on. The people have a right to keep and bear arms for the common defense.
So you've heard the news, ICE agents are quitting in droves. This is a real thing, Homeland Security can't even hide it, and some ICE agents are only still working there until they get their student loans forgiven. On top of that, when you Google ICE facility attack Texas, you'll see there was an ambush made on ICE agents because people are not only at a threshold, they are past it. But back to Adam Boyd, citing ICE is only chasing deportation quotas. When did that become apparent to you, Adam? Was it when Kristi Noem set the quota at 3,000 deportations a day? Was it when ICE began pulling up to people while getting surgery to deport them? Was it when ICE began deporting people with no criminal record? Or was it when ICE began arresting people at their check-in for their green card? Officers and agents have spent much of the past 5 months clocking weekends and waking up at 4 a.m. for pre-dawn raids. Their top leaders have been ousted or demoted, and their supervisors themselves under threat of being fired or pressuring them to make more and more arrests to meet quotas set by Trump and advisor Stephen Miller. Sad day. But we may be entirely missing the point that their ICE agents' conditions were perceivably comfortable up until now, but once the public began calling them out as cowards with masks for fear they'd be doxxed and experience the modicum of the treatment they doled out, now they're uncomfortable. Now they're uncomfortable. They were comfortable treating people like this. They were comfortable breaking up families. They were comfortable doing all the horrible things that they were doing up until now when they were pointed out for doing it. Now we're finding out who is behind the masks of the ICE agents are just a bunch of county correctional officers who have been deputized. And apparently, according to Adam Boyd, people who want loan forgiveness. Think about that. Would you be willing to break up families, do all these horrible things so your student loans could be forgiven?
All right, there you have it, man. What ICE is doing that you don't know, okay? So we'll come back later, guys.